Hello and welcome back to Buck the Trend podcast. I'm Matt Nartiv.
And I'm Steph Clutterbuck.
We are here week of 70.3 Worlds.
Yes, we are. I tell you what, this podcast very nearly didn't happen because I am tired.
Yeah, deep into that Ironman block currently.
Yeah, it's what a privilege to be able to train enough to be tired again. But yeah, it's fun trying to decide what is proper tired, what is pot saying, hello, you've done a lot and now my body's freaking out. And I think my spontaneous bursting into tears yesterday morning was probably a hint that we may be kind of leaning into the, okay, let's start taper now.
When the emotions come.
When the emotions come.
So yeah, we've got this weekend 70.3 Worlds. You obviously didn't qualify for that, hence why we're not there.
Yep. Can't go and race if I didn't qualify.
So instead, we are going to Ironman.
We're doing Ironman Arizona.
Ironman Arizona in
10 days.
10 days. So week post 7.3 Worlds. So we will be watching intently and we will give a bit of
We'll do our thoughts. I have no picks.
Oh, I think I do.
We'll do some picks.
Yeah. So we'll keep that to the end of the show.
But in the meantime.
Yeah, in the meantime. So, Steph, you signed with OnlyFans for this year.
I did.
We've had lots of questions. And yeah, just this is a chance for us to talk about it, hear your point of view, and understand a bit more. So, do you want to kick us off?
I can do that. So, where to start? Probably at the beginning. When we decided, because I say we because the beauty of being in a relationship and one that is long-standing is that you typically don't make decisions on your own anymore, which is fantastic because I can't make decisions. But when we decided that I was going to turn professional, we made had an agreement that we were going to do things differently, hence Buck the Trend. But that is more than just a fun name for a podcast, because I think up until this point, there has been this belief in the industry that you have to be good, you have to be world class. Well, okay, more than that. You have to be one of the best in the world to make any sort of money from this sport. And that doesn't just mean the prize winnings at events, but just in terms of what sponsors will offer. And as an up-and-coming professional, it's not a particularly compelling employment prospect, because you're well, there might be a 5-year pipeline for me to be good enough to earn that kind of money. And I own a house. I have bills to pay. I need to fund all of this travel. So travel and racing and food and equipment and everything, nothing is given for free. So I kind of kicking this off with, can we stop the rhetoric around chasing money as a bad thing? Because this is my job, so I have to earn money from it. This is my income. So with that in mind, with the idea of doing things differently, we this year, I guess one of our business goals was to find a non-endemic sponsor that we found really exciting and compelling, and one that was bought into sport and wanted to kind of support the success of an athlete rather than just kind of give money and turn their backs, because something that's really important for us is building partnerships. And we noticed through the summer that there were announcements coming out from athletes in, I guess, slightly off the beaten track sports being announced as OnlyFans athletes. And a lady called Sabrina being one of them, who's an ultra runner, and Ellie Smart, who is a cliff diver, which is the most absurd sport I think I've ever seen in my life. It's unbelievable. There's someone that's a track and field athlete and motorsports, and a couple of other divers, and Nick Kyrgios, who's a tennis player. And so we're seeing all of these things okay, this is interesting. This is a non-endemic sponsor who is investing in kind of slightly more extreme sports, if you look at ultra running and cliff diving. And Matt predominantly, so Matt was the driver of this, I take no credit, thought that we could create a compelling case for triathlon to be exciting for OnlyFans. And then, so that's kind of the professional athlete business side of it. But then from a platform side, I have been, like, the majority of my brand is built on Instagram. We put a lot of work into building that platform and creating a community of like 66,000 of you, which is absolutely fantastic and super exciting and wonderful. But my content is not seen in the way that it used to. The algorithm means that a lot of the time, like, it's just not being shown to people. And you get the influencers saying, oh yeah, but it just means that it's not the right stuff. It's like, yeah, but it's the real stuff. It's the my life stuff. Like, I'm a professional athlete. I want to share that journey. I don't want to create get ready with me videos, because quite frankly I don't have the time, and most of the time I've got a bun on top of my head, I don't have any makeup on, and I'm falling down the stairs trying to get out the door. So as hilarious as that would be for a video, I also usually forget my phone. I'm not recording it. So OnlyFans then as a platform for content creators away from an algorithm to earn money from their content was something that was compelling to me. And we've had people make money off my content on Instagram without me being paid for it, if that makes sense.
And I think that's one thing that's kind of interesting there. How much money have you made from Instagram personally, from Meta Instagram?
Nothing.
Okay. So in terms of, I mean, the only way I'm sure there are ways you can monetize it through Instagram nowadays. I think there's a new subscription-based channel that's come about from it. But it's very difficult to, shall we say?
Yes, yeah. So a lot of it's through. So if you were to make money off Instagram, typically it's like second party or third party with someone paying you to advertise their product on the platform. It's not money coming from Instagram itself. Yeah,
and in terms of Instagram, like I say, it's been a great tool. You've used it well, yep. And like I say, but it is. I'm sure anybody who uses Instagram will say exactly the same. Trying to follow the algorithm and how that works it's hard.
Yeah, and like they say, oh, when you find something that works, post it again or post something similar. You can do that and it just gets nothing, and it makes it a very high risk platform to utilize for business, because I don't apologize if this feels cold and very business-like, because this is the reality of what we're facing. We are running a business, and we have two platforms that we are able to use for the business, that are social media platforms. So I don't use X, and Meta owns Instagram, so that's kind of Facebook, and then there's OnlyFans that sit separately. So these are the two platforms that we have that are, and also I don't use TikTok because that's even more work. So I guess these are two platforms that we're looking at, and OnlyFans it has a reputation, and I guess this was the question mark for me specifically around doing it, because it's in the news. OnlyFans is in the news, and you say OnlyFans and you think about the adult workers and the pornographic content that sits on there, and I totally understand why the first reaction of being told that someone was on OnlyFans would be to kind of assume, oh, okay, that's a bit different, but that's not what it was created for. So OnlyFans was created for musicians and artists and poets and writers to have a space where they could sell their work to people who supported them without having to worry about publishers saying yes or no, and without having to worry about record producers saying yes or no. And there was a huge growth through COVID of adult sex workers utilising the platform to, I guess, own their bodies. So, and when I say that, I mean the platform creators are majority female, and the platform subscribers are majority male. And it was the kind of the female workers that were able to really drive the ownership of their image on the platform through COVID, which meant that they were able to maintain an income in a world where but kind of everything shut down. So like, yeah, we were furloughed, but films weren't being shot, and that's all kind of films weren't being shot. And the result of that is there were a lot of people earning more money than they were able to earn before without being controlled by other people, and they were able to kind of create an income that they just haven't let go of because it's continued to grow and continue to build. And OnlyFans did try and shut it down, and I think it was 2017. So this was before COVID, and it just didn't work because so many people said, no, we want this. So they kind of brought it back up again. But they have been putting in a lot of work to build the other side of it and investing in safe for work content creators. I think is probably the best way to do it, whether they're chefs or personal trainers, or it's a kind of people selling a service, right? So they could be educational videos on basically anything. You could be a doctor on there. You could genuinely be a doctor, and people could pay you for consultation. They could say, can I have, I've got this problem. Can I pay $25 to have a conversation with you and you tell me what's wrong? That is genuinely how it could be utilized by someone who is a medical professional. Similarly with PTs, if you're doing remote consultations. So the opportunities are basically endless for how you could utilize this. So we are coming at it as a professional athlete. That was what I really want to get across. I'm a professional athlete using this platform in a very similar way to how Instagram was used probably 8 years ago, where I was sharing all sorts about and this was right at the start of my triathlon journey, about my training, about what I was eating, about how recovery was going, the stuff that the algorithm hides now and just doesn't get seen if it's posted on Instagram. On OnlyFans, you actually get to see it. So my page is completely safe for work. It will remain entirely safe for work. That I do want to make that crystal clear because there has been some speculation. But I do also want to say, if you want to see that stuff on there, totally fine, no judgment. It doesn't just jump out at you when you click on the website page. Like, that's the other thing. If you go on OnlyFans, it's not just like a page of people without clothes on. Privacy is hugely important to them. To create a creator account, you need 9 forms of personal identification. So they do more than any other social media platform on preventing an image being stolen. They also do huge amounts on supporting the reduction of child abuse on the internet, and a couple of watchdogs have kind of made that point known, I suppose, and they use an AI, I don't know if it's an AI bot or I don't know how you describe it, that scans every image and every video that's uploaded, and to the point that Matt he was helping me through World Champs Week, obviously, because it was a lot, and we tried to upload the video of the photo of the swim start, and it wasn't working. I couldn't figure it out why. And Matt zoomed in, and on the wall in the background, right at the back, was a child or a small person, and it had said, no, you can't upload this because there's a child in the image. So we edited the image and cropped it, and then it was totally fine. So point being, privacy, security, etc. are more stringent than anything we've experienced on any other social media app. So for me, it's somewhere I actually feel very, very safe. And I feel like I have the opportunity, I actually have the opportunity to say no to something. Whereas I suppose on Instagram, not that it's a comparison of the two sites, but just to give people a flavour, I've had reels stolen, and people use them to sell. So my swimming reels specifically, people were using them to sell their coaching as though they'd coached me as an athlete, which was obviously not the case at all. So yeah, I feel safe. I feel secure. I hope other people that use the platform do so too. And I'd say as a creator, it's given me so much control over what I'm posting, and honestly has given me the opportunity to live and pay my mortgage every month without any stress whatsoever.
Yeah, so that's a rundown of, I guess, what people can expect from OnlyFans. There's a few other parts to it. Do you want to talk us through maybe sort of OnlyFans TV?
Yeah, so when we spoke to OnlyFans about the partnership, they were super excited because of the eyeballs that triathlon's got. So it's a very exciting business opportunity, and where OnlyFans really sees their athletes adding value is with something called OnlyFans TV, which is very similar to YouTube. It's fully safe for work and it's completely free. You don't have to pay for it. And I guess its role within OnlyFans is you see a video on OnlyFans TV and then you go to the person's platform that's released the video. So that's kind of how the flow works. But on there, it's documentary style. So they're long form videos with people showing you a thing. So they've done TV series with the Sims family, who were on like a UK reality show. It's where like you can see motocross racing documentary style stuff. Ellie Smart the Divers posted some stuff on there that's kind of like behind the scenes of her life as a professional cliff diver, which is super cool. And we will be, over the next couple of weeks, hopefully, if we get around to it, editing and starting to post up videos like about Ironman Arizona and then our trip out in the US and the second race that we're going to be doing, and then into Christmas and off season and stuff. So it will be it will be an opportunity to properly see behind the scenes of this life, I guess.
And this was kind of a compelling reason. We decided that we were going to look at potentially setting back up a YouTube sort of series, but this essentially gives us the platform to do this.
Yes.
So yeah, look, we can talk about this, but if there's anything you want to see in terms of, I don't know, getting ready for a race, like the build up to the race, what it's like behind the scenes, sort of during sort of transition of the race, things like that, not during the race, sorry, pre-race and whatnot, then that's kind of the sort of stuff we can look at.
Absolutely. And Matt has his nice gimbal now, so all of his videography would be spot on. I think something that really spoke to me was in the conversations that we had with OnlyFans, and Dylan specifically, he made it crystal clear that what OnlyFans wanted was to give athletes the opportunity to succeed, whatever that success looked like. And that for me was really important, because it was like, they are non-endemic, so they don't necessarily care. It'd be great to be world champion, but they don't care about being world champion. They want you to succeed in whatever it is that your story is, and wherever the next part of your story will take you. And then they want that to they want them to share that with my fans. And for me, it was just such a wonderful way of seeing it. It wasn't like, oh, we want this and we want this and we want this. It's like, no, we want to step back and give you the opportunity to flourish. And we understand how difficult it is for athletes to do that, especially one in a non-funded sport, and the financial constraints that naturally come with that, and traveling around the world to race. So we are going to step up and we are going to support you. And it was so powerful, and I was completely taken aback, and just kind of cemented in my mind that actually this is an exciting partnership with a brand that really does buy into athletic performance and giving athletes a platform. Because we keep saying media needs to be better in triathlon and stories need to be told and we need to get more eyeballs. And surely this is just one way of doing that.
Yeah, and it's, like I say, bringing more money to the industry, which is obviously a good thing. And we can help elevate the sport, really.
For sure. A rising tide lifts all ships. It's like one of my favourite sayings. But yeah, so I think there's been a big response.
Yeah, and let's take a step back in terms of reception. Obviously, you've got your own sponsors currently.
Yes.
How has the reception been from that?
Brilliant. Yeah, we spoke to and have spoken to the majority of our sponsors about it. And I think the general consensus is basically what I just said. Like, this is great. OnlyFans as a business is absolutely enormous, like bigger than you can imagine, at least 10 times the size that Ironman is. And that provides an exciting marketing opportunity to a lot of brands, which is what we were hoping. And there has been so much support, just like, yeah, absolutely great business decision. What a cool thing to do.
Yeah, and hopefully we can elevate your sponsors through that as well, in terms of it's more eyeballs, could be new audiences, could be new people to triathlon. Therefore, like you say,
And also, I think if we look at like a marketing pipeline or a buyer pipeline, to like, again, completely take the emotion out of it, as like you have the whole world, and then there's the first touch point where you see a brand, and I don't know, 50% of people say, yeah, not for me, but 50% of people hang around. And then you get a second touch point, and another 25% say, yeah, not for me, but the next 75% hang around. And by the time you get to someone subscribing to you on OnlyFans, they are a super fan.
Yeah.
Like that, they are a huge fan of whatever it is that they have subscribed to, and therefore they are going to be increasingly interested in what that individual is wearing or using or talking about. So for the brand that is being worn or used or talked about, it's an exciting opportunity for them to have really authentic engagement with people who could be interested in buying their product at some point. And that's what I am hoping. So like, it's not a tool for me to sell my sponsors, but it is a tool for me to give people maybe a slightly different view on how I'm using products in a way that isn't advertising, but is just a general conversation around, I am an athlete, I'm a long distance triathlete with postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I've got some nuances, and this is how I'm going about my life in order to hopefully one day become the best in the world. So yeah, I think it creates a very compelling audience for people to look at.
And you've seen that because, like you say, you talk about super fans. I mean, we've been fans of many different athletes across the years. It gives you the access to be able to speak to them, ask them these questions, and they don't have to answer them if they don't want to, but they can. And it gives you that outlook to ask these questions that you might not have been able to before, because going through Instagram to get a question to somebody is almost impossible.
Yeah, because your question will answer inevitably end up in a request folder, maybe even a hidden folder.
And I think you've seen that. You've had a lot of questions on some of the brands you've been using. What do you like about them? What separates them from another brand? And I think you've been able to, like I say, honestly speak about that and say what you like about your brands, and that's been, like I say, a good, hugely part of it. But also bring in, like you said, to get to your page on OnlyFans, you have to click through the link which you put out.
Yeah.
You can't access it through anything else, I don't think.
No, so there isn't a search function. You can't just search for a name just to see if they're on OnlyFans. You have to go through their specific link.
So to get to you already, it's usually a fan.
Mm.
So I think being able to access that is pretty cool.
Yes.
Which I don't think we've had, well, a lot of people don't have access to before.
No, definitely not. And not in this way. Which is, like, for me, it feels like a privilege because I have the opportunity to just have some conversations, like some really great conversations with people that I definitely wouldn't before, because they don't have the ability to speak to me in quite the same way. I think we made the announcement the night before Kona.
Yeah, and we've got a few funny stories that we can go along with this that is behind the scenes and no one really know about.
Absolute nightmare.
But we can say this. Conversation's been ongoing. Essentially, we got the suit printed up, and what happened, Steph, with the suit?
So obviously we were in Hawaii, so resources were slightly limited, and we found someone who would print on the suit, and would print the logo on the suit, which was amazing. But unfortunately, they had a bit of a mishap with the printing, and they melted my zip, which they thought wasn't a problem, because when it wasn't under tension, the zip would stay done up. But as soon as I put it on and there was like a little bit of tension behind the zip, it wouldn't do up. So
and
this is 4 days before race start. I did not have a wearable suit.
And we've all been there, you know, when your zip gets jammed or whatever and you zip it up and then it from the bottom splits the bottom and comes up, which is never a good look. And we actually didn't have our second. We usually and should have had a second suit.
Yeah, so that was in a rucksack that Matt had packed and left in our kitchen.
Yep. So I take fully blame for that, and I took full responsibility for this during the race week, and there was no stress put on Steph.
Believe that if you will.
I knew I'd get it sorted, but essentially we had to go about using one of Steph's old cycling jerseys, or not old, but a cycling jersey, which had exactly the same zipper on one side. We had to get that unstitched and unpicked, and
we found an amazing seamstress.
Yeah,
we did not do this. There was a fantastic seamstress that lives in Harvey who did the whole thing for us, and I am so incredibly grateful. So yeah, she unstitched and restitched the zip.
Yeah, so there's a nice behind the scenes that you never really see.
Which was slightly annoying because I was supposed to do some shooting with Iron Man in my race suit, but couldn't because it was broken.
Yeah, so I take full responsibility of that one, but I did solve it.
Yeah, so Matt owes me a photo shoot with the GB flag behind me and my name in lights, because that's what I missed out on, and I still haven't given it a full hit. But yeah, so that was fun. That was so great. So we had all of this stress leading in, and then obviously there was we need to make sure we got the signed contracts in place before we make the announcement, but we kind of have to announce before the race because it's on my suit and it's on my helmet, and we definitely didn't want to just go into race day without and soft launch it, 'cause it's not quite something that you soft launch. So yeah, we went for it on the night before because that's what the timelines allowed us to do. And yeah, I mean, I'd say 95% of the response was wildly positive. I had so many messages from fellow female professional triathletes just being like, yeah, great, absolutely love this, this is brilliant. And equally from some icons within the sport as well that I maybe thought wouldn't have that opinion because it's something new and something different and radically different from, given the reputation, it might be a stretch too far, but handshakes, good business decisions, a follow from Scott Daru, thank you very much, on Instagram, that was great, and a handshake on race morning, so appreciated that felt very cool. So I think the people that genuinely know me and respect me offered me a huge amount of grace with it and were very, very excited. And we've had conversations with people who weren't sure and were like, oh, I don't know. And then we talked them through why, and we're like, and then their mind is kind of, well, yeah, actually this is great. Why is it any different to some of the other sponsorships that are coming through in the sport? It's a brand that is invested in athletic performance of athletes that want to go on and do great things. How is this not good? So yeah, and then obviously there was the meme accounts had a really wonderful time. I wasn't allowed on my phone after the announcement until after the race, which meant that I missed Anne Reichman's pregnancy announcement, which also meant that she got to tell me in the energy lab when we were running together, and I burst into tears. So that was a truly wonderful experience. I think we so rarely find out news from people face to face now. There was actually a really lovely outcome of me not being allowed my phone. So yeah, I guess you were on the receiving end of a lot of the feedback because I didn't have my phone. So you kind of saw it first. So what were those first couple of hours like?
Yeah, and it was quite interesting to me. I don't know why I perceived this, but I always perceived most of the, I don't know, bad or hate or whatever would come from the female side of things. And I don't know if that's just me generalizing or, I don't know, maybe it's bad from my opinion, but that's how I saw it would happen. And it was actually the complete flip side. It was the complete opposite. And there was so much support from a lot of great ladies out there. Like I say, you're owning your image, you're owning your content. And I think a lot of that is quite powerful. And I think a lot of people can kind of agree with that. But yeah, on the other side, where we had a lot of, I don't know, it was a lot of males sort of, I mean, you can speak better about this than I can. You saw all the comments after.
So that was I'm sorry, I have to laugh. So it's two camps of maybe 3 camps of negative feedback. One, selling your soul to go after the money.
Can we address one by one individually?
Okay, yeah, fine. Selling your soul to go after the money. Which I guess we kind of like half addressed at the start. This is my job. I need to earn money. I don't care what anyone else says. Like, £2,000 come out our bank accounts every month to pay for this house in my mortgage, right? So, what do you mean? Why are you putting that face?
Oh, you just give away random figures. No, it's fine.
But I think like people do need to understand that is that, and that doesn't include any bills. That doesn't include any food. Like, I can't not make money.
Yeah, you're a professional athlete. This is your job. You need to make money. And a lot of this criticism came from people who, quite frankly, also did exactly the same. So, quite disappointingly.
Okay, Matt's getting really annoyed now. There's been a lot of rage around this one. Because there are controversial sponsorships in triathlon.
Yeah, there's controversial things within a lot of sports.
Within so many sports. It is like, and it is unfortunate. And I mean, I would argue that OnlyFans is not anywhere close to the least controversial brand that sits in triathlon, nor in sport in general. And I think it's a lot of like misunderstanding and a lack of knowledge about the brand that kind of puts it in that camp. But yeah, the selling your soul to go after the money was a little bit like, okay, sure. Like, if that's what you believe, you actually don't know what it takes to live your life as a professional triathlete. Like, cool, thanks for coming, but I very much disagree. Within that, though, there was a massive compliment that was definitely not meant to be a compliment. So it was on a particular video that was posted on YouTube, and someone had posted, I don't even know who she is. Thank you. Why don't you know who I am? You should know who I am. I'm incredibly important. I don't even know who she is. She's got far too many sponsors.
That was a joke, by the way.
That was a complete joke. God,
no sarcasm in your tone there, Steph.
Complete joke. I have no idea who she is. She has far too many sponsors for how good she is. Like, thank you. That is the whole point. That is the whole point. Like, maybe a backhanded compliment, but and it definitely wasn't intended to be a compliment, by the way. That was very much supposed to be an insult. But that's the whole point in this. Like, why do I have to be world champion to have sponsors?
Yeah, and why can't we give a voice to all these other athletes who are not in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 even? Like, there are a whole roster of athletes that have very interesting stories. If brands are helping push that and get their stories out there, the better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's great.
Like I say, from when we were at the World Champs, we had so many great stories from, like I say, there were, 60 women on the start list.
Yes.
All 60 have their own story, and not everyone wants to tell their own story, and that is absolutely fine. But a lot of people want to hear people's stories.
Precisely, and that is always what we have wanted to be a voice for triathlon. We have wanted specifically to be a voice for female and women in triathlon who are driving to push this sport forwards, and that is not going to stop. Like, we are going to continue with that. So yeah, like, thank you for saying I have too many sponsors for how good I am. It basically means that I'm doing a really good job. We're doing a really good job. So congratulations, Matt. You get a promotion. There was this kind of like second group that was saying about why would you want to be supported by a brand that objectifies women or a platform that objectifies women. This was said multiple times by men specifically. Sorry, now this is going to make me very angry, so I'm doing doing my best to stay calm. Men do not require a platform or a website or an app to objectify women. I have been catcalled, I have been followed down the street when I have walked to the shops in trainers, tracksuit, a big puffy coat and a hat in the middle of winter. It is not, an app is not required.
Yeah, and I think a lot of women can, like, we see this a lot, out cycling, out running. People will get catcalled. We hear that a lot. Also on Instagram. It's been happening for years.
I know that if I post a photo in my swimming costume, I will get more likes on Instagram than if I post a photo in my cycling kit. It is just a fact. So OnlyFans is not a platform that objectifies women. OnlyFans is a platform that gives women the opportunity to own their image and make money off it, which is something that does not happen in that industry specifically that I'm referring to, outside of this, because in general it's something that's controlled by men, but OnlyFans is not. OnlyFans is something that is controlled by the female that is owning their image. So that is genuinely something I feel very passionate about. And that is coming from a creator who is using the platform and understands how it works. You have full creative freedom to post whatever the hell you want, which means that you, like, it's yours. You get to own it. You get to own yourself. Like, how cool is that?
And I will say, no one is telling you what you can and can't post.
No.
No one is telling you what you have to post. You have your own creative liability in yourself to post whatever you want.
Exactly.
You've decided, like I say, it's triathlon content. That's what you.
And that's what but equally, if another triathlete, and I would honestly be so shocked if we don't see more professional triathletes or generally triathletes on the platform, because, like, guys, get on it, honestly, because it, like, and if they choose to do that, like, who cares? Who cares? Let them post whatever the hell they want. It's just not something that I have chosen to do. So I guess, yeah, that's the objectification of women. Oh, I could talk for hours on that. And this last point was, this kind of like third camp was, oh, but it's just taking advantage of vulnerable men. There are 300 million subscribers on OnlyFans. So apparently there are 300 million vulnerable men that are using this platform to be taken advantage of by women. Again, said with huge amounts of irony and sarcasm in my voice. So in general, they run like demographic checks on OnlyFans, and the demographics on OnlyFans are no different to any other social media platform. With regards to like the subscribers, there are, I guess, slightly more men, but in general, it's in balance is kind of what it's come out at. And I guess the like flip side of that, I think Instagram's biggest growing population a couple of years ago was 55 to 6-year-old women. Like, I don't know if that's matched in OnlyFans, but yeah, like, come on. It's not just vulnerable men using a platform. Like, again, no one is stealing their money. No one is robbing their pockets. They have full agency to sign up, and they have full agency to leave if they don't like it. Like, I mean, please forgive me if you're a vulnerable man on OnlyFans and you feel like you're being taken advantage of by a measly triathlon creator who's talking about her training she's doing. But I'm pretty sure that that's not what's happening here.
And I'm fairly sure you've also got female followers on OnlyFans.
Yes, I definitely do.
So.
I know that I do. So yeah, I think there's like, let's just take a beat when we're making our judgments, and really think about it. Like, is the vulnerable men thing coming from the fact that actually it is a platform with strong women owning themselves and their content? Because there are more female creators than male. I did say that. And I did say that there are more male subscribers than female, which again is slightly true, but it does suggest that it's not that different to other social media platforms. So I don't know, maybe Instagram has more men than women. Like, I don't know. I have more male followers on Instagram than female.
Yep.
I think it's like 75% male, 25% female, which is wild. So yeah, like this, it's not, I guess it's like, it's not as outrageous as people kind of made it out to be. And yeah, so I have been poked fun at. I have been made fun at. I have had people that I thought were friends unfollowing me without any message, without any conversation, just kind of shut me out and liked comments that were making fun of me. Like, great, thank you. At least I know who you are now. But in general, the response has been wild. And thank you so much for that. Like, truly thank you. And I hope that we've had a bit of an open and frank conversation about OnlyFans, about it being the elephant in the room and why we've done it, what you can expect. And like, I appreciate there'll be people that disagree. And I am in full support of people having their own opinions because this is a free country. But like, before you make judgment, please do reach out to have a conversation about it. And I am more than open to understand. And you can bet, coming from a chronic overthinker, that we thought so hard about this. Like, this is not a decision on a whim. We knew that this would be life-changing in so many ways. So So much thought went into it, and I hope you can appreciate that. So yeah, that's the OnlyFans announcement, and I'm on OnlyFans, and I'm an OnlyFans athlete, and I am so proud that I am.
Yeah, so congratulations, and
Thanks.
we should hopefully see a lot more fun triathlon content coming.
Definitely.
Like, that's the crux of it really, was how can we create better content?
And not be held back or dictated to by an algorithm that no one can see or understand, basically. And OnlyFans gives us that opportunity, which is really, really cool. And I very much am enjoying using the platform so far. It doesn't have an app, by the way. So if you were to join OnlyFans, there isn't an app on Apple Play. I think I've just combined.
The App Store is what you mean.
I've combined Google Play with the App Store. I don't know what they're called. There isn't an app because there is adult content on there. The app stores don't support it, so you have to access it through your browser. It's not that much of a big deal, but.
So where can people find the link? Where can they find your?
The link to my OnlyFans is in my Instagram profile, and. Yeah, so you can find it there. And then as soon as we start doing some stuff on OnlyFans TV, you'll be able to find us on there as well.
I believe it's also in your YouTube channel.
And in my YouTube channel, there we go. So basically the platforms that I use, my link is in there somewhere.
Yeah, and if there's any, the YouTube style series we'll start doing, if there's anything you want to see, let us know.
Yeah, and I guess what we can genuinely say is OnlyFans is for you. It is for you guys. So we create the content and we show you what you want to see within reason, because I'm not posting myself naked, just to be very, very clear if I haven't said it enough. So let us know, because that helps guide us, because why would we produce stuff that you don't want to see when we don't have an algorithm that we have to worry about with regards to getting reach and likes? We can just create the stuff that we want to create and that you want to see and have fun doing it, which for me, as someone who was a creator long before they were a professional triathlete, is a dream come true.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of that in terms of even things down to swim analysis. I think you've done a bit of.
Yeah, I've done a couple of swim analysis. They're fun.
And just, random things like that you just, I don't know, wouldn't think of, but have come about.
Yeah. So that's that. That is OnlyFans. Hope you'd enjoyed the discussion. 70.3 Worlds.
Yeah. On to another important topic.
Another important one.
This weekend, we are Thursday today. Thursday?
Yes.
7.3 Worlds. We've got the female race. It's the most important race that everyone's there for on Saturday.
Obviously, here for the women's race.
And then the men's race on Sunday. Both with absolutely stacked start lists, as always. Although I will say one thing I'm disappointed in is the amount of dropouts, especially on the female side.
Yeah, so Tripol, shout out Tripol, at Tripol, have done an amazing job of collating the male and female start lists and then highlighting who isn't going, who is going, who's on their way, who might be quiet on socials, and who we genuinely just have no idea about. And yeah, I think it's something like 25 of the 60 women aren't turning up. Or maybe even more. Maybe it's
crazy. In the background, I'll find it.
Yeah, he's going to find the numbers. It looked to be about 50% of the start list wasn't turning up, which it's one of those things. It's a November race. It's been a long season. People do burn out. It's also 3 weeks post Kona, so there are a few Kona athletes who have made the decision not to go, but equally there are a load that have, and so much respect for that, because that is a tough turnaround. And obviously there's the general illness and injury that comes through anyway, but I would absolutely love to see I don't know if a wait list, a WTCS style wait list for athletes that have reached almost qualified. And so I've had 2 finishes in this qualification cycle. I think of Oceanside, 2 of the athletes that took 2 of the 3 athletes that took slots are not going, and that's absolutely you have every reason to not go. That's fine, but is there any way that Ironman could put, especially as the Pro Series is in existence? I think this is really important. Is there any way that Ironman could pool the people that have reached, done enough to be included in a pool, i.e. have done a 70.3, and then offer them a wild card slot to fill it back up again, because we don't want small start lists.
Yeah, and like I said, I've just had a look. I think it's close to 40, I think, around 40 on, I think it's across both the male and female side. So it's very similar across the two. I don't know why, to me, it just looks more on the women's side. Maybe it's just the way the spread is. And I think we're seeing this because it is towards the end of the season. It's after the long distance World Championships, obviously the Ironman World Championships in Kona. We didn't see half as many dropouts from, I don't think, three on the female side. I can't remember what it was for Nice. Maybe something similar. So maybe it's because it's an end of season thing, and next year Nice 70.3 Worlds is before Kona.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see less of that. But yeah, it's just interesting because, like I say, and I'm not saying you deserve to be, you didn't qualify. So
yeah, I didn't qualify. I don't deserve to be there, but I want to see a full start list.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean. Is there, and this is not like, okay, it's slightly done selfishly because I wasn't there this year, but hopefully I'll qualify next year, so it won't be in conversation. But like, we don't want to see a start list where there's 20 people missing. So is there any opportunity for Ironman to mediate that? And to be quite honest, we'd have the punishment for not qualifying because we'd only find out 2 weeks in advance if we were going to race.
Yeah, and I think for me, I don't mind people dropping out because people drop out through injuries, through a multitude of different reasons. My biggest bugbear, I guess, is people who then will race the next weekend or the weekend before somewhere else, maybe because it's closer to home or something like that. And I just think, well, you're racing, you've qualified for a World Championships, go and honour it. If not, just don't take. If you know you're not going, well, I guess you wouldn't know at the time, but if you're not going to honour it, don't bother taking the slot.
Yeah.
But like I say, everyone has their own reasons, and I'm not there to judge that. Like, we've all dropped out of races before. But yeah, it was just an interesting fact to see, really. So, yeah, start line. Like I say, we've got, a lot of the favourites. I'm pretty sure all the favourites are there.
Well, the big news is that Lucy and Taylor are there. Yeah,
which I think is huge. And I actually think, spoiler alert, I think one of those could, one of those obviously could win.
Yeah,
but
if you've been hiding under a rock, neither of them have posted much since their DNFs in Kona. I don't think Taylor's posted at all after leaving Hawaii.
But I think that's kind of good and bad almost, because it's like maybe they're just like need a reset, need a break.
Yeah, I guess what it means is none of us know.
Yeah.
So they have been yellow on Tripol's list for a while until Taylor was spotted on a plane and Lucy was seen out on the roads of Marbella. So I, for one, am so excited to see them on the race course, because hopefully they have been able to recover well in the last 3 weeks, and they are both going to be out for a redemption race to go and, like, they both want to be a world champion this year, as does Kat Matthews, and all three of them haven't quite done it. So, yeah, you've got three people with a hell of a lot of fire under their asses this weekend.
And I think ultimately it's great to see them back, because it was a bit worrying. Obviously, everyone saw what happened in Hawaii to both Taylor and Lucy, but they both light up the race. Like, there's no question about it. They're both very, very exciting and phenomenal athletes. So, yeah, good to see them back on the start line, hopefully, and I hope they have a great race.
Likewise. And then on the men's side?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Norwegian train, who it's hard to look past all three of them, really.
Yeah, I know. We all said it wasn't going to be a 1, 2, 3 in Nice, and then it was, and then we're all going to say they're surely not going to do it again in Marbella.
And I think everybody's sleeping on Casper again, but I don't know. Like I say, I think he's now got, I think you get a bit of a buzz, of course you do, for him winning a world championship, but also like the confidence boost to him. Like, I'm sure he would have known he was good enough to do it, but to execute it on the day is, as every athlete knows, very hard. You need a lot of things to align for you, and obviously that happened in Nice for him. Similar-ish course, you could say, in terms of it's a hilly bike, flat run, ocean swim. Yeah, I mean,
and the men have had an extra month.
Yeah, to recover.
So this is then where question marks come in around those women that actually started Kona, because even Taylor and Lucy, Taylor as well, she didn't finish, but she still ran 40k of the run. And Lucy still ran 27k of the run. It's not like they dropped out quite early on in the bike. Like they did basically, Taylor did essentially a whole full Ironman apart from the downhill bit at the end, and Lucy did a significant portion of the run. You've then got Kat and Solvi, who both had incredible races in Kona, but did do the full race, which then you've got that loading on your body, and it was only 3 weeks ago. Whereas the men, the Norwegians were fantastic, and they've had 7 weeks to recover.
Yeah, and they've also had time for an altitude block in between, whereas the females probably almost definitely haven't. They've just had a heat block in Kona.
Yeah, heat block, and then back to European winter. I mean, you've got the Norwegian 3, you've got Jelle Geens, who is excellent and has been good this year. Hasn't quite toppled Hayden in a T100 race, but and I guess that's like, for me, that's like, but if he can't beat Hayden, can he beat the Norwegians? Because would Norwegians beat Hayden, or would Hayden beat the Norwegians? Like, I don't know. And we don't see that race this weekend because Hayden did not qualify for 70.3 Worlds because he hasn't raced half distance since Taupua last year in New Zealand. You're going to have to learn how to pronounce
Taupo.
Okay, fine. Brit.
But also there's a lot of short course ladies who've come across.
Yes.
Who I didn't even know their names, to be honest. So it's good to have some more.
But we see that in the men's field too.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many short course athletes that are stepping up and are like fantastic swim runners. Like, that's absolutely where they're and there are also those that are very good on the bike, but I think the drafting nature of the Olympic distance and the sprint distances means that as long as you're good enough to sit in a pack, it's the run and the swim that matter. Whereas on a course like this, they are going to have to be good cyclists. Where the short course athletes will get a benefit over the mid-long course is the descents and the technical aspects, because it is a slightly more technical course than we normally would see. I say slightly, very, very slightly. Despite its elevation profile, there aren't actually that many corners. I think there's one wiggly bit on the descent, which I'm sure will be beautiful and so much fun. But other than that, it's kind of, maybe they'll have the confidence to descend faster. Not really sure. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. And it's like, so bike's 90k with how much climbing? 1,400 meters of climbing? 1,300?
Handsome, I think.
Yeah, so it's hilly. Like, it is very much a hilly race. And there are 2 climbs. So you go up, you descend, and then you turn around, you go up, and you descend again.
So road bike or TT bike, what are we going to see?
I think if it was any more technical, we'd see more road bikes with front end adaptations. But I think you could probably get away with a stripped down TT bike in this race.
I think everything I've seen so far has been TT bikes. Maybe there'll be some surprises on the day.
Yeah. It also, I think, largely depends on which pro athletes have the ability to amend a bike like that.
Yeah.
Because that could cost a lot of money, is a big risk, and if your sponsors say yes or no, or if you don't have a bike sponsor, that will influence your decision.
Yeah. And I think as a bike sponsor, it probably doesn't look good, but they want you on their TT bike. You're a triathlete.
Probably,
They want you on a triathlon bike, I'd imagine. So, but I can't speak for everybody. I'm sure they have their own license to do whatever they want. But.
So Pro Trail News, I think it was Pro Trail News, put out a question thing on their stories.
Question thing.
I don't know what it's called. And I wasn't on the pod to talk about it, so I want to talk about it. On the men's race, what will be most important, swim, bike, run? And then the same question for the women.
I mean, in a triathlon, it's usually always the run. But here you would probably say maybe it's the bike. But then again, if it's a choppy swim, could be the swim.
Yeah, so
I've sat on the fence there.
Thanks for not answering the question. I'm sure we all appreciate that.
Okay. No. I'm going to say it's going to be the run, because I think if Christian runs as fast as he's run previously, I don't think even with a slight bike deficit, I think he'll still make it up. Yeah,
I very much agree with you. So I think on the men's side, not making the front group is not going to be quite as important because the bike is so hilly. So drafting will be limited on the uphills. And you are going to see the athletes that have the power to literally work up the hills like horses.
But also you've got to expend a lot for that.
Yes.
There's a certain type of athlete who can do that and then run well.
Yeah, so I guess that, like, in my mind, bike is more important than swim.
Yep.
Because it's also only a half distance. So, like, realistically, how much time would KB lose? Like, maybe a minute? I'm pretty sure he rides that back.
Yeah.
Or certainly runs that back. And then it's the relationship between the bike and run that I think is interesting. Because, yes, you are going to have guys that bike too hard. And I think this is with a half distance, everyone in that field can ride their bikes really, really, really hard. What they can't necessarily do is run well off it. So I think we're going to see, it's going to be I don't think the gaps on the men's side are going to be big on the bike. But we are going to see people who overbike, and we are going to see people who want to stay with the front or want to stay with the pack they're in, and then they end up paying for it in a way that we don't often see in a half distance. So we don't typically in a 70.3 see pros blow up, but I think we might this time round. So I think on the men's side, the run's most important.
Yeah, and I think that's just because the pace is going to be so brutal that we will see these blow-ups, not because of the heat or like you do in Kona, which again is the pace being pushed very hard at the front, but I don't think the environment plays as much of a factor. It's probably going to be mid-20s, so it'll be warm, but it won't be silly.
What about the women's side?
Oh, this is difficult. I think again it is. I think the bike for the females, because I think you can get a really someone like Kat, Lucy, Taylor, some of the really good riders. I think can put in serious gaps on the bike.
It's really boring when we agree.
Okay.
But yeah,
but then what I'm also saying is, then does it help? Obviously, it helps the lighter athletes in terms of they can climb better. That's just simple power to weight. But do they then get a bigger benefit going into the run? I don't know.
Yeah, but then equally there's the descent is super fast, and it would actually benefit a heavier athlete who is able to push the power to maintain the speed.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a heavier athlete. I'd say a better descender.
Okay, yeah, or a more powerful athlete, someone who is able to produce the power at quite a high torque.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also agree. I think on the women's side, the bike is going to be instrumental. Women they tend to be slightly better at pacing themselves. The pack dynamic is also smaller anyway, so there is less of a need to stay with the group, and people are much more used to racing on their own. And we so rarely see women running together that I think it'll be a case of who is able to manage themselves best to put in the best kind of final 3K on the run that they can, but those gaps will be determined on the bike.
And here's my hot take for the women's side. I don't think we've seen what Kat is capable of on the bike yet, and I think we might see it this weekend.
I agree.
So
I'm excited.
That's my take.
No pressure.
We'll see.
Yeah, I very much agree. I think this is a course that is super exciting for her, and if she puts her brave pants on, then I think it's going to be a really, really great day.
So Kat, if you're listening,
put your brave pants on. Yeah, that's my coaching advice. Yeah, I very much agree with that. You also said to me earlier that KB's looking like he's going to win. So Matt thinks KB's going to win.
I do this every time. I don't know if it's because it's KB, but I just think if he runs like he can run, he, I don't know, is almost unbeatable. But he isn't, because there's so many other good people around. Gustav, fantastic. Look, he won Nice 70.3. I don't know when it was, 20, whenever. 21, 22.
I literally looked at this earlier. Yeah, can't remember.
But regardless, he can ride a bike, that guy.
Yeah.
So suited to him. There are, I don't know, there are so many. I could pick a top 3 and it could change 10 times by the time the race comes about. So
how exciting.
What would be interesting is, will our picks change once we watch the female race for the men, if that makes sense?
Oh, yeah, good question. Is the bike going to be less important than we thought?
Like watching the dynamics play out, will that influence how we feel about the men's race? And will it influence how as a professional athlete, would it influence, say you were racing in the men's race and you just watched the women's race on Saturday, would it influence your race at all? Or do you still just stick to your tactic?
Yeah, good question.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they probably stick to their own, to be honest.
Do you get a benefit from being able to watch the women's race the day before?
Or
would you prefer to get your race out the way?
Oh, I'd much rather get mine out the way so I can enjoy sporting. I don't know if I also don't know if you would, because you've ridden the course by this point, you've run the course by this point. Like, what are you actually? The female athletes are very different to the male athletes, and their approach to the whole race is completely different. So I don't know if you would. Like, we've seen the T100 where the men race first versus the women, and vice versa, and results haven't changed that much.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it does.
And I should have fact checked this, but how many people are racing? I think it's a lot, like 5,000-6,000
Oh God, I don't know.
over the 2 races,
Probably. It's usually 2,500 twice.
which is an awful lot.
But yeah, we can check that. I'm not sure. So if you're racing, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. We'll be following along, getting massive FOMO sat at home.
Yeah, we will. I'm so jealous.
So yeah, good luck to everyone racing. I think that wraps up pretty much this week. Next week we've got a very exciting sponsor announcement coming, a new one.
Da, da, da.
So look forward to that one. Yeah, and I think that's probably
God knows when we'll be recording. We'll try and record before we go to Arizona.
Yeah.
And then it'll come out while we're there, probably. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
exactly what it will do. Trying to make the announcements tie in. But yeah, we'll have a podcast going out next Thursday.
Yeah. So thanks again for listening. Appreciate your support. There's been a lot of it. So thank you very much. And yeah, we'll see you not the same time, but similar time next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
Not committed.
Bye.
See you later. Bye bye.